Have you told them, Lady Grantham?
She's told us nothing.
Do sit down. I've come into possession of a villa.
After the warm reception of Downton Abbey: A New Era, fans couldn't help but wonder if there might be more in store for the Crawley family. Turns out, there is. A third film, Downton Abbey: The Grand Finale, is officially happening. The second movie reunited creator Julian Fellowes with nearly all the original cast members, continuing the beloved story that first came to life across 6 seasons on TV. So it always felt like the door was open for one final chapter, and now we're finally getting it. What made A New Era stand out was how it expanded the world of Downton while still juggling over 30 characters. That's no easy task, especially with multiple plot lines running at once. But somehow, it worked. The film also introduced big changes and fresh starts for the Crawleys, who were starting to step into the rapidly evolving world of the 1930s. Now that this new era is underway, the timeline opens up so many doors for interesting developments. With the grand finale, we're not just getting another movie, we're getting the conclusion of the entire saga. It's exciting, sure, but for longtime fans, it's also a little bittersweet. The latest update came during CinemaCon 2025, where Universal Studios gave attendees a sneak peek at the film. It wasn't released to the public, unfortunately, but folks at the event got a taste of what's coming. According to people who were there, the footage starts at a horse track with Carson announcing, "Welcome to 1930." We get glimpses of Lady Mary and Edith, and soon the entire original cast begins arriving back at Downton. Mary makes a bold entrance dressed in red, and we see scenes of lively parties and joyful reunions. It all wraps up with a touching shot of Robert placing a kissed hand on the Abbey's stone wall, a quiet moment that says a lot. As for the release, Downton Abbey: The Grand Finale is set to hit theaters on September 12, 2025. That's over a year after it wrapped filming in August 2024, which is a pretty long wait. They haven't shared why there's such a delay, but it could have something to do with finding the perfect release window. Interestingly, the first movie came out in September too, while A New Era landed in May. Maybe they're hoping a fall release will bring in a bigger box office this time. That's something worth thinking about, because A New Era, even though it was praised more than the first film, didn't perform quite as well financially. The original Downton Abbey movie made $194 million globally, while A New Era brought in about $92 million. So the studio might be aiming for a stronger finish with this third entry. Now, let's talk cast, because the movie is shaping up to be a true farewell tour. Most of the original crew is back again, minus a couple of big names. Sadly, Maggie Smith's iconic Dowager Countess won't return. A New Era served as her final bow. And Matthew Goode, who plays Lady Mary's husband Henry, wasn't able to appear in the last movie either, though there's always a chance he could show up here. Fans are also hoping Lily James will return as Lady Rose, which would be a nice touch since she's been missing for a while. One new but also familiar face is Paul Giamatti, reprising his role as Harold Levinson from the TV series. He's expected to play a bigger part this time, which should bring a fun new energy. And then there's Alessandro Nivola, who's joining the cast alongside other newcomers like Jolie Richardson and Simon Russell Beale. Nivola's character is said to have a connection to Giamatti's Levinson, which could add an interesting dynamic. Of course, most of the ensemble is returning to close out the series properly. That includes Hugh Bonneville as Robert, Elizabeth McGovern as Cora, Michelle Dockery as Lady Mary, and Laura Carmichael as Lady Edith. You've also got the beloved Downstairs crew coming back. Jim Carter as Carson, Joanne Froggatt as Anna, Brendan Coyle as Bates, Sophie McShera as Daisy, and Leslie Nichol as Mrs. Patmore. Honestly, it wouldn't feel like Downton without them. So with all these familiar faces returning, the real question is, what kind of story will the grand finale tell? There's actually a bunch of directions they could go in. At the end of A New Era, we saw a major shift. Violet had passed away, leaving a lasting legacy, while Tom Branson had started a new life with Lucy and their baby. Thomas Barrow had stepped down from his role as butler, and Carson was getting ready to train Andy to take over. Those story threads are perfect starting points for the final movie. But beyond the family drama, there's a much bigger backdrop they can play with. Since the story is moving into the 1930s, it's very possible that the movie will touch on the global tensions that were bubbling up at the time. The first season of the show kicked off with World War I looming, so it would make sense for the last movie to end just as World War II begins.
I very much regret to announce that we are at war with Germany.
It gives everything a nice full-circle feeling, bookending the franchise with two of the most significant wars in modern history. And speaking of Nivola, he recently opened up a bit about his role in the movie. He's not playing a Brit this time around, which is actually kind of rare for this franchise. He mentioned that joining the cast was a little intimidating since so many of them have been working together for 15 years and feel like a tight-knit family. But he also had a unique advantage. He already knew a bunch of them. Hugh Bonneville, for instance, was his co-star in Mansfield Park more than 2 decades ago. Dominic West is an old family friend, and Paul Giamatti? Nivola has known him since he was a teenager. They were both at Yale, Paul in drama school and Nivola as an undergrad, and they've stayed close ever since. So even though he was the new guy on set, he had some strong personal ties that helped him ease in. Nivola also hinted that he and Giamatti's characters have a bit of a double act in the film, which sounds like it could be one of the funnier or more dynamic parts of the story. Since Harold Levinson is known for being a bit more eccentric than the average Downton resident, bringing in someone from his past could add a refreshing twist to the usual mix of tradition and decorum. Of course, nothing has been confirmed plot-wise, but we can expect plenty of emotional closure. With this being the final chapter, it's likely that everyone's story will get wrapped up in some way. Whether it's Mary finally settling into her role as the future head of the household, or the younger generation like Daisy and Andy stepping into new responsibilities, the movie has a lot of loose ends it can tie up. So even though it's the end of an era, it's shaping up to be a pretty special send-off. From what we've heard and seen so far, Downton Abbey the grand finale isn't just looking to provide closure, it's aiming to celebrate everything that's made the franchise such a cherished part of television and film. It's about legacy, change, and holding on to what matters as the world continues to shift around you. And for fans who have followed these characters for over a decade, that's a farewell worth watching. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.
What is it?
A white feather, of course, coward.
Stop this at once. This is